Hi everybody, welcome to Ifnatcancook. Today I'm making fried chicken with the dipping sauce. I'm making potatoes with spinach in a kind of a curry-like stir fry, and there's a summery pasta with eggplant, tomatoes and olives. Let's start with the chicken. I have about 500 grams of boneless breast pieces that I have cut up into thick strips just like that, and then I've used a mallet to pound it to break down the muscle so that it's juicier and it's easier for it to absorb all the marinade and the seasoning. And because everybody does not like breast pieces, I've also included 6 leg pieces with its skin on. For it to season well, I've made small slits into the chicken leg pieces. I'm going to be seasoning this just now. This is the first time I'm going to be using Trader Joe's smoked ghost chilies. I believe it's really hot, so I'm going to use just a little bit. If you don't have this, then you can just stick to red chili flakes. I've been told to go real easy on this, so by that I am really going to go easy because I can already smell it up here. I think I'm too scared to put more than that. And as with everything else, we need to season this with a generous amount of salt and some garlic powder, onion powder and some herbs. Onion powder kind of tends to clump up like that, but this is a new packet, so I'm just going to use my fingers to mix it in properly. Otherwise you should store it in an airtight container in the fridge. The dried herbs I've chosen today are parsley and basil, and a couple of teaspoons of olive oil, a splash of water, and I'm going to be adding a little bit of corn flour into this and setting it aside. A table of corn flour should suffice, and the next thing I need you to do is add at least the juice of 1 lemon. About 3 or 4 teaspoons of lemon juice have come out of 1 lemon, and I want you to add that and mix this really well. And while this chicken sits in its seasoning and marinade, I'm going to be making a pasta. I started off with boiling 200 grams of macaroni al dente and setting it aside. We need a pan and we need to add some olive oil, and to that I'm adding a handful of chopped onions, and then after that I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of chopped garlic. After adding the garlic, I've added in a tablespoon of chopped celery along with its leaves. I'm going to add half a teaspoon of chili flakes, half a teaspoon of dried herbs, and then I have 2 handfuls of chopped eggplant. Mix that well. And because these are thinly chopped, well, relatively thinly chopped, they're cooking real fast. Just have to make sure that they're coated really well and no pieces left uncooked before we add about 4 chopped tomatoes. Add in the tomatoes, and then we're going to add a seasoning of salt and crackled black pepper. Mix that really well, guys. I've mixed that well, and as always I reserve some pasta boiling water. I'm going to add a little bit of that, maybe half a cup. Now, whenever I boil pasta, I boil it in salty water, so the salt content in this water is high. So be careful of that, guys. As soon as this comes to a boil, we're going to add in our boiled al dente macaroni. Add in the pasta or macaroni, whichever one you boiled. Mix it well. Next up is feta cheese, and guys, remember that even though it says it's low fat and less salt, it is pretty salty, so we've got to manage that. 3 tablespoons of feta cheese, and I had a little bit of olives lying around, so I'm going to mix that in. And that's nearly done. The last things I'm going to add for garnishing are basil, some chopped up olives, some parmesan and white wine vinegar. I'm going to be adding 1 tablespoon, and then I shall be putting in the basil leaves. I'm very generous with parmesan, so I'll cut up some more, but this is more or less done and ready to be served. And the very last thing I want you to do is pour some more olive oil on top of this, and even if you have truffle oil, that would do just well. So I boiled about 10 to 12 pieces of baby potatoes in salty water. I've cut that into half, and here I have a pan, and I've added some mustard oil. You can use just about any oil. I'm going to be adding a teaspoonful of minced ginger to this. is the fire and add some rosemary. I have these frozen, but if you have fresh, there's nothing better than that. I'm sauteing that till the garlic pieces turn a little crispy and gold. I have some frozen spinach here that I want to use. If you don't have frozen spinach, you can use boiled spinach in this. I'm going to cover this and keep it for a bit. This spinach has defrosted and I'm sauteing it till the liquid dries up. And then after that, I'm going to add the potatoes in this and then I shall season it. It's smelling really good because of the garlic. I'm going to keep this simple, guys. So at the moment, the only seasoning I've used is salt. You can add a little bit of butter, like maybe a tablespoon of butter on top of this. It really changes the taste. I love butter. I've added a little bit of water to loosen the consistency, half a teaspoon of mustard paste, and if you want, you can add some milk, just about a little bit. That's it. Or you can add cream or not even that. This is ready and this is delicious, even if I say so myself. Just before serving, for fun and a bit of color. Oops, I think I added too much. But I'm going to add some smoked paprika. So what do you guys think? And the chicken has been sitting in its marinade and seasoning for an hour now. I have 2 eggs that I've beaten. There's some flour mixed with 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And here I have some Uncle Barnes amazing breadcrumbs. And you know the drill. You dip it in flour, coat it really well, rub it off, then in egg, coat that very well too, then place it in this amazing breadcrumbs, press that well. Excuse the messy fingers, but you got to do what you got to do. And then place that here. So I've put together 2 leg pieces with skin and about 4 breast boneless fillet pieces without skin of a smaller size. So obviously the temperature of frying will differ. I think this pot or wok of oil is ready. Let's see. I think we'll wait another 10 seconds. I'm going to fry the smaller pieces first. And then I shall be frying the leg pieces with the skin separately to show you. My son is home and he's hungry. He wants his lunch. It's kind of late, but this is the time he comes back home nearly every day. I've been in the kitchen for a long time today, 2.5 hours. But that's how it is for me. I like being in the kitchen. And while I cook, I clean as well. So I believe in multitasking, or I'm not really that great at it, but I like to organize myself a little bit. And the color on this is quite beautiful. I don't want to darken it too much. These are like tempura strips, so if you have prawns, that would do so well as well. That is also nearly done. I thought I could quickly show you the dipping sauce I make along with this. For a dipping sauce, I want you to take a bowl and add 1 tablespoon each of garlic and minced ginger. Then you add a little bit of chopped coriander. There's some bird's eye chili. There's a little bit of salt. I'm going to add some vinegar, some ketchup and some soya sauce to this. And this is ready, guys. The dipping sauce had the ingredients that I told you. I added about 1 tablespoon of vinegar and 2.5 tablespoons of ketchup and about 3 tablespoons of soya sauce. This is trial and error. You can add a little more ketchup, you can add a little more soya, but remember to add less of vinegar because you don't want that out of control. So I hope you make this too, guys.